What's up, everybody? It's Demo with Demo Vapes. Thank you so much for watching. Tonight, we're going to be taking a look at the Phobia RDA from Vandy Vape and Alex Vapors MD. So first of all, I got a couple items of business to take care of before we get to the actual review. One, I have hit 1,000 subscribers, and oh man, I've been doing this for such a short time. I never would have thought that I would hit 1,000 subscribers so soon. And I just wanted to take a second to thank all of you guys who watch my videos, who subscribe, who comment, who populate my Facebook group. There will be a link for that down in the description. And I just want to thank everyone for that, because it's just so humbling to me to see all of the support that I've gotten from people who I don't even know. And it's just, it's just awesome. So yeah, thank you guys so much. And there will be a huge giveaway for my 1,000 subscriber event, so to speak. I don't have the details on it yet. I'm trying to get some companies to sponsor this, send me some stuff so that I can give that all to you guys. So I've got some juice companies on board. I've got Brett over at the Cloudy Vapor. He's on board. He's going to send me some stuff. And I've got a few various different companies that have pledged to support this giveaway. So that's fantastic. Keep your eyes open for those details in coming videos. Second of all, I did just want to take a second to apologize for the extreme lack of content on my channel lately and give you guys kind of an explanation for that. I am a currencies trader. That is my job. And up until now, I have been doing my job from about 2:30 in the morning till about 6 a.m. I would trade on the London market. And that was working out for a time, but the problem was I didn't have enough time to shoot videos and work at the same time. I had to choose between one or the other. And so as of now, I am switching to a day schedule, and that will allow me to both work in the morning and then shoot videos in the afternoon. And so that will give me a lot more flexibility to get out more content for you guys. As of now, I've got it in my schedule to be shooting every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So, sorry, every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. That's fantastic, and I really hope to be able to uphold that and get some more consistent content out for you guys, because you guys really deserve it. You're awesome. I love you guys all so much who comment on my videos and who watch and stuff like that and provide me some support. So again, not to keep this in a gush fest, thank you so much. And the final item of business we're going to take care of after the down low portion of this video. Tonight I've got the Phobia sitting on top of my new Titan 2700 parallel box, and this is from Silversteam Vapor. Eric over there, he runs an awesome company, makes some great mods. This is a 0.11 interlocking alien frame staple in here, and I actually haven't vaped this yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave my first impressions for after the up close. And so we're gonna go down up close, take a closer look at this, and I'm gonna show you a whole lot more about this RDA, and when we come back up, I'll give you my first impressions. All right, see you there. Alrighty, everybody. Here we have the Phobia RDA by Vandy Vape and Alex Vapors MD. So this is going to be kind of a first look on this RDA. I have not really even done much with it at all. I've just taken it out of the package and cleaned it. So we're just going to kind of discover this all together. Popping this package open, we are greeted with the Phobia RDA on this side. Take that out and set it to the side. We are greeted with the second cap over here. This is basically the same as the first cap, not too much different. It does come with this sort of Delrin chuff. Underneath the flap, we've got all our little goodies. In this little bag, you've got 4 hex head grub screws, a hex head squonk pin right there, some extra O-rings, a 510 drip tip adapter, a 1 singular beefy O-ring, my guess is this is the deck O-ring, a Allen key, I'm assuming to install the squonk pin, I imagine, and then the little black screwdriver. That's not black, that's blue, the little blue screwdriver. Otherwise, under the main tray, we've got kind of just a user manual. This is their little new fold-out manual system. I hate these manuals. I wish they'd go back to the books. And a quality certificate. Set all this back in there. So yeah, not too much in the way of accessories, but you know, that's okay. We get an extra barrel. Taking a quick look at this extra barrel, you'll notice that we have these slight sort of scuff-looking marks on the side. Now, I think that those are just marks in the plastic. They wipe right off. So if you get yours and it's got these little scuff marks from the packaging, it should wipe right off. And onto the Phobia RDA itself. This is a 24mm RDA as far as I can work out. You've got the little Phobia logo here. Nothing on the other side. You see more of those little scuff marks from the plastic. Kind of wipe those off. We have a Delrin 810 drip tip up at the top. If I can pull it out, it's in there real tight. Ugh. There we go. Got it. And on the top, we've got written here, no more phobia. Oh, no more fear, no more phobias. But the text is kind of cut off, so yeah. I would have liked to have seen that actually done a little bit better where the text wasn't so cut off. The drip tip itself looks kind of nice. It's a little Delrin standard 810 drip tip, but it's got these little sort of hashes on the side. I like that. Nice little style touch. Other than that logo, there's really not much to see here, except that this is bottom airflow. You can see we have the cutouts right there. This does not go all the way through. It sort of looked like that in some of the reviewer packages. It looks like it doesn't go all the way through in this one, so that's nice. It's a little bit more blocked off from each side. This is the final retail version after all. On the bottom, we have a nice protruding 510 pin and protruding peak insulator. Very nice, very safe on a hybrid. I'd have no qualms about running this at all. And on the bottom, we have Phobia, Alex Vapers MD, some qualifications there. Your little batch numbers, and manufactured by Vape. The barrel is kind of just a standard barrel. We've got a conical shaped design on the inside. No paint on the inside, which is something that I really like to see. I'm really happy to see that they did not coat the inside. The other barrel also has a nice conical shaped design, although it's a little bit different. On this one, you can see this sort of has a slight, I don't know, inward slope to it. So it's not quite the same sort of scoop. I don't know a better way to describe it, but it's sort of the other way. So, it is what it is. And on to the deck section. This is a really cool looking deck section. From the minute that I saw it on Instagram for the very first time, I was like, ah man, I'm really excited to get that. I gotta try it. As you can see here on these little airflow areas, we have Phobia written on that one. And on the other side, we have 4 Phillips head grub screws right there. They don't have any sort of tops to them, so they're just kind of chilling there. Right here in the center, we have a sort of directed squonk channel right here. Your squonk liquid goes out on each side rather than just pooling up in the center of the deck. Now, I will say this juice well looks kind of shallow, so I imagine for squonking, it might not be so great because, I don't know. I mean, that just looks like it would be so easy to flood. I don't know. We'll see, I suppose. This is a first impressions after all. I'm really not sure. But it does look like it would be rather easy to flood. Also, one other thing that I'm sort of noticing, it doesn't look like you have too much room for your cotton here. These areas look kind of small, especially for dual coils, so I guess we'll see about that. So as far as airflow is concerned, we have sort of a bottom little bit here and a side little bit here. And this looks kind of similar to the way the Kylan works, as well as the Amit from back in the day. Maybe about a year and a half ago, the Amit sort of kind of popularized or started this sort of 3D airflow kind of effect. So it's really cool. I think that this should provide some really smooth, nice flavor. So we'll kind of see. We're all discovering together. It's fantastic. So to get these screws out, you just do nice little unscrews. Oh, this is kind of in there, isn't it? Ugh. Unscrews very nicely. Looks like you got a spot for your leads to go down in there, so that's kind of nice. You get a little wiggle room. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it looks like there's a little hole down there. Let's see if it's present on the other side too. Yep, indeed it is. It is present on both sides, so you do have some wiggle room for your coils. And there's one thing I'd like to kind of point out. I haven't even really used this, and these screws already sort of look like they're stripping, or rather that they came to me sort of stripped. And that's not super great, because that's actually super irritating, because that means that I'm not going to be able to get a good purchase on these screws. Got to step up your game with the screws, Vape. Oh, it looks like I got one more thing to show you here. This one beefy O-ring holds everything together, and I don't know about you guys, but these are dry O-rings, and it is very easy to get on, and very easy to pull off. So when that gets a little wet, I'm not sure. That feels like it's just gonna get really loose. So I guess we'll find out, but I don't know. I'm not super thrilled about that. So yeah, guys, that's really about it. I don't have a whole lot more to tell you now. I really haven't used this yet, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw a build in it, wick it, juice it, and we're gonna get back up to the top view, and I'm gonna vape it, and I'm gonna give you guys my first impressions of this RDA, the Phobia by Vape and Alex from Vapers MD. Rather, Alex Vapers MD. All right, guys. See you up there. All right, just kidding. I decided to change my mind. I'm actually going to show you guys how to build this, and I'm going to do it with a little bit more description than I normally do. In lieu of my normal coil porn, I decided to actually just kind of explain how to build this. I've never actually explained on camera how to build a postless atomizer, and I do have some subscribers who are fairly new to building and new to vaping, so I thought it would be kind of helpful to actually go through and explain this, and I promise you that I will not do this for every RDA, because I know a lot of you guys watch for the coil porn, so I promise you that this will not be a completely regular thing, but if there is something relevant about building an RDA in the future, I will probably do these segments as well. So anyway, start off, you're going to go ahead and unscrew all the screws. Don't unscrew these too far. They actually don't have as much range as you might expect. And some of these are kind of janky in there. All right, once you have those figured out, once you have those unscrewed, go ahead and set that to the side. get your coils out. Tonight, I'm going to be using some interlocking Fralians. These are coils that I made. I'm gonna go ahead and dump them out on the table, show you maybe a little bit closer up. So yeah, these coils are interlocking Fralians. I made these myself, and they should clock in right around 0.11. And while this RDA is a little bit more flavor oriented, this should have plenty of airflow to deal with these very, very warm coils. Now, one of the first things you're gonna have to do to build a postless atomizer is you're going to need to clip the leads. You're gonna need to pre-clip them so they fit. And certain atomizers like the Drop and the Dead Rabbit have a little bit more forgiveness than atomizers like this, but it's still not too difficult. It's kind of just a trial and error situation. So I'm gonna go ahead and kind of clip what I think will work. We'll go from there. Now, always start with, I don't know, leaving about a ½ an inch or so, and maybe just a little under 1 centimeter for you guys overseas. You're gonna wanna leave it about that long or so, just to kind of start with. You can always clip off more, you can't ever get it back, so kind of go slow with this. Alrighty, so I've got my RDA here. I'm just gonna kind of do a little test fit, see how they fit. All right, and that is pretty good, although I do kind of prefer to have my coils touching the actual deck, so I'm gonna actually kind of clip a little bit more off, just because what I like to do is I like to have them touching bottom out, and then I pull away, so that way it tightens the coil a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and clip a little bit more off. Now see, that fits much better for my taste. It's all the way bottomed out, so that's perfect. Now, before you tighten these down, you're going to want to take the other coil that you have, and you're gonna wanna put it right up next to the first coil. And then what we're gonna do is we're going to make cuts at the exact same length on this second coil. All right, so now we basically have 2 coils with the same length leads. I've got one lead on this one that's just a little longer. I'll trim that up. I'm gonna go ahead and mount both of these up and screw them down. Go ahead and take this guy, pop her in here. So now that's sitting nice and there. I'm gonna go ahead and put my finger on this here. I know it's gonna kind of hide it, but what you wanna do is you wanna kind of hold it in like that while you are screwing this down. And I leave the rod in there because it adds an added stability to the coil. So go ahead and screw that down. It doesn't need to be insanely tight at this point. I'll go ahead and pop my other coil in there, do the same thing. Now you'll notice that my coils are kind of janky in there because that's just kind of the way it works sometimes with this. Now we're gonna go ahead and beauty those back up by pulling them away and kind of repositioning them. I use the rod for this. That's what she said. And I just kind of center them, push them back in towards the center. And in this case, I'm gonna kind of pull them a little bit closer to the airflow, maybe a little bit away from the post, nothing too crazy. With this atomizer, you want to keep everything kind of close to those airflows, but by pulling it away just a little bit, it kind of evens that out a little bit and smooths out that coil. And now that one coil looks a lot better. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing for the other side. And I'm gonna try to center these coils over the airflow. All right, so we've got our coils installed, and they're not perfectly straight, but you'll get a chance to kind of re-straighten these after you anneal them. And when I say anneal, that's basically once you first fire them up, it will change the properties of the metal and allow it to be just a little bit more malleable and allow it to kind of move into place and stay there. So we're gonna go ahead and start firing this up. And just before you do that, make sure to check all the tension on your screws. You don't want anything to be loose. Sometimes that happens when you pull your coils around and stuff like that. So go ahead and check the tension on those. All of them are nice and tight, luckily. And just for your reference, I actually built these a little bit higher up off of the deck. There's a little bit more space, and my logic there is that the bottom airflow will reach these coils regardless of how high you put them up, you know, in general. But if you want to have that perfect side airflow effect, you want them just a little bit above the side airflow. And so I think that's gonna vape nicely. So we'll give it a try. Again, this is my first impressions. If this changes, I will reflect that on my final review. All right, we're gonna go ahead and start firing these up. I have this around, let's see here, 70 watts. It's currently coming in at 0.08 on my Daily Vape TV DNA 250. Shout out to Nick Bassett, excuse me. Anyway, it's currently coming in at 0.08. That should go up to about 0.11. And I'm gonna start at around 70 watts because these are kind of beefier coils and they can handle it. As long as I go nice slow pulses, it'll be just fine. So I'm just gonna kind of give it a few nice pulses. Notice we've started to get some color. As you can see, we've got some golds coming through there. And this is all nichrome 80, so it will color. And I'm starting to get a few hot spots. One thing that's really nice about this is that I can go around this post and grab my coils. It's very convenient. So you're gonna go ahead and kind of pulse and pinch and pulse and pinch. And I don't generally rake my coils with the back of my tweezers. Not a huge fan of that technique. I just prefer to pulse pinch, you know, and then pulse without pinching, kind of go back and forth. And I honestly find that 9 times out of 10, that's all you need to do. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and speed up this video through this process. But before I do that, now that we've begun to fire these coils up and they're getting hot, I'm gonna go ahead and check these screws again one more time. And indeed, they've got a little bit more travel in them. And you want to do this when the metal is hot because it allows your screws to bite a little bit more into the metal, give you a more solid connection. And you can already see that helped a lot. And just kind of alternate your placement, you know, do all that kind of stuff. Now, before we finish this, I will kind of cool this down for a second and kind of reposition these coils just so they look a little prettier. Now, at this point, once I'm firing fairly evenly already, I'm gonna go ahead and bump this up to the vaping power that which I'm gonna be vaping at, which is about 110 watts. So I'm gonna pop it up there, and I'm just gonna check one more time for hot spots, because sometimes hot spots that don't come out at lower wattages will come out at higher wattages, and everything looks pretty good, actually. I think that's pretty much just about perfect. Oh, I got a little hot spot there. See, that's why you do this. Sometimes if you have a tricky hotspot to get out, like I've got a hotspot sitting right here right now, oh, it kind of went away, but what you can do is you can actually stick your tweezers in your coil and pinch that individual spot. Also, it's another trick you can do is you can grab your coils like this with your tweezers and pinch an individual coil. It sometimes helps to get out some of those trickier hot spots. Well, anyway, it looks like we're kind of looking good here. Pulsing fairly evenly. I'm gonna go ahead and wick this. I'll give you a little primer on how I wick these. Now, normally these coils would be a nice shade of sort of bright blue, and the reason that's not happening right now is because I touched the hell out of them. So if you want to get good color out of your coils, this is kind of just a little pro tip for everybody. If you want to get good color out of your coils to post on Instagram or a Facebook group or something like that, make sure to wash your coils very thoroughly in like dish soap or something like that, and then don't touch them. After you rinse them, don't touch them because your skin oils will inhibit the color. So anyway, normally these would be a nice bright shade of blue, but instead they've sort of taken on a more of a grayish appearance. So as far as the cotton that I use just Japanese organic cotton pads. I personally haven't found anything that I prefer over these. For the price anyway, you can get like a bag of like 90 pads for like $8, and that is a steal. So I don't know, I've never found any serious benefit to cotton bacon or anything like that. So, you know, I just kind of use the pads. They still work great for me. So there are a lot of reviewers out there that'll tell you, oh, you need this much cotton, you know, cut this much cotton off of your pad and stuff. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that because every pad is a little bit different in thickness. This one's super, super thick. So I'm not gonna need a whole lot of this pad. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it the way that I would think that I would cut it for 3mm. And cotton is one of those things you kind of just got to get a feel for. There's nobody that can really tell you exactly, you know, how to wick your RDA perfectly. It's kind of trial and error and experience. Now, what I do with this is I go ahead and take these skins on the outside off. And I think that this just helps wick a little bit better. And then from there, what I do is I just kind of roll it up. I roll it up very gently, and it kind of becomes a lovely little roll of cotton. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and twist both ends. And because this RDA has a relatively short juice well, I'm going to go ahead and twist both of these ends and then cut it down the middle. Now that these coils have cooled, I'm going to go ahead and insert each tail into each coil, pull it through. Now you should be able to hear, I don't know if you will be able to, I'm going to pull it up to my mic. I don't know if you'll be able to hear that, but you should be able to hear just a little bit of a, you know, squeaking sound as you pull your cotton through. That is good. That is what you want. That means you are getting enough tension on your cotton. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this. And we'll go ahead and use a length, I don't know, about this long. Looks like it'll work. Go ahead and stick your other wick through there. Cut your other little cotton tail there. Now comes a step that a lot of people kind of either leave out or don't think about or don't think is worthwhile. I personally like to do this with most all of my builds. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of rake out the cotton on each end. And the reason why I do this, especially on an atomizer like this, is it just allows the wick to take up just a little less space. And also I do feel that it wicks a little bit better up to the center when you have a little bit less on the ends. Basing this on no science at all, but just my own pseudoscience. Now we're gonna go ahead and trim up these wicks, cut off all that excess. Now at this point, we're gonna go ahead and kind of stuff these little wicking channels, see how this works. This RDA is kind of starting to remind me as if the Geek Vape Amit and the Reload 1.5 had a baby. And that's pretty much it. Now your RDA is built and wicked. I'm gonna go ahead and juice this up, and you know, who am I to deny, you guys? Just a nice little drip shot. So here you go. And that was the Phobia RDA by Vandy Vape and Alex Vapors MD. Now, if you guys hadn't noticed, my fiance, being the lovely, wonderful, and amazing woman she is, got me a Demo Vapes vape mat for my birthday. In addition to that, she got some of these Demo Vapes microfibers here as well, to wipe up any juice spills that you might have, as well as this awesome Demo Vapes canvas. I do believe this was actually a Christmas gift. I don't think this was my birthday. I could be wrong about that. Yeah, this was a Christmas gift, definitely. So anyway, so I got a bunch of Demo Vapes swag. Now, if you guys would be interested in picking up a Demo Vapes vape mat, or one of the microfibers, or a hat, or a t-shirt, or a sweatshirt, or really anything Demo Vapes related, please comment down below and let me know, because I am in the process of getting hats and t-shirts made. I can make a bunch of these up if you guys are interested, so please let me know. Hopefully I can get those things figured out in time for the giveaway so then I can include them in the giveaway stuff. Anyway, it's not about all that. Tonight it's about the Phobia, and yeah, let's take our first toot on this. 0.11 alien interlocking alien frame staple. Oh, they're wet. That's just hot. Wow, that's hot. That is a hot vape, and the airflow is actually pretty nice. It's kind of Reload 1.5-esque, and a lot of these things about this RDA kind of remind me of the Reload 1.5. So yeah, it's kind of right up my alley. The airflow is a little bit loud. It's got a little bit of a kind of a high-pitched whistle. Now let's see, if I just cut this airflow off just a tiny bit, that helps a little bit. It doesn't seem to change a whole lot. Cutting it 3/4 of the way kind of cures some of that whistle. Yeah, the way this vapes really reminds me of the Reload 1.5 quite a lot, and as you guys all know, the Reload 1.5 is my favorite atomizer of all time at the moment. Always subject to change. One thing I noticed right off the bat as well is that once these O-rings get a little juice on them, I should say O-ring, once this O-ring gets a little juice on it, it becomes quite loose, but it does have a nice snap. It has a nice click in there, and that's just really nice. But sadly, it is loose. If I go to pick this mod up, I can just easily shake it off. As well as it is also just a little bit wobbly with that on. So, I mean, I don't know if you can hear this. It's definitely a little bit wobbly. So, not the greatest O-ring. I would have liked to have seen just something a little bit beefier. Obviously, I do have to give it the test and see if I can squirt juice down the middle. No leaking. So this is definitely an RDA that you can squirt your juice down the middle without any fear of it leaking. Obviously, like any other RDA that is bottom airflow, if you squirt too much juice in there, it will leak. The vape... The vape off of this is incredibly intense. It's a little bit too intense, I think, for a 0.11. I think I might end up rebuilding this and build it just a little bit higher. Normally I like 0.11 even on my reloads, but with the way the airflow comes in, the vape just feels super concentrated and intense. And that's really nice, but it definitely doesn't need to be quite as hot. And I think this is a little bit more geared towards flavor. It's pretty fantastic, actually. The air is very smooth despite it being very loud, and I'm just getting some really stellar flavor. Tonight I am vaping on this blueberry blackberry preserves from CNC Apothecary. This was a juice company that I do believe won Best Menthol at Vape Showcase in St. Louis, and they're just a fantastic juice company. This is a great juice. It's a nice all-day vape, very light, very just delicious and earthy. You get a lot of that sort of nice fresh fruit flavor in this. So yeah, guys, I don't have a whole lot more to tell you about this. This is a fantastic RDA from my first few toots. Nothing too crazy negative about it so far. I'm gonna try it in squonk mode. We'll see how it works in squonk mode. And yeah, this is a $30 to $35 RDA. It's kind of where I'm seeing it. I did pick this up from thecloudyvapor.com for $33.99, and I will have links down in the description where you can get this RDA as well as a link. They don't have these 2700 Titans up on the website yet, Silversteam Vapor, so I am going to put a link down to the Titan Faction Facebook group. You might be able to pick up one of these there. Yeah, no, it's just a great setup. It's just a really nice little vape, and so far I'm really enjoying it for the first, I don't know, 20 minutes that I've been vaping on it. All right, guys, that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. I will have a link down in the description for my Facebook group. Please be sure to check that out, as well as all of the links where you can get all of this stuff, as well as this juice, down in the description. So yeah, that's really about it. I'm not gonna give a verdict on this because this is just a first impressions. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if I have earned it. And that's about it, guys. Demo out. Now, if you guys, whoa.